Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today I want to talk about my dream to own a Corvette. So when I was growing up, I was really poor. We came from a poor family, and people are going to say, well, you weren't really that poor. We were poor, okay? Dad had an executive job. He was a general manager at Mitsubishi Motors, but we were poor, okay? Mum didn't work. She made our clothes for school by hand, and you always dreamed about being wealthy. All right, I had no money going through school, I had no money for university, and it was a thing, but you always dreamed about owning a Corvette. But in Australia, Corvettes are very expensive, like $270,000 to buy a Corvette. In America, you can buy that same Corvette for $68,000, I think. Let's pull it up on the screen. So it's like, well, in Australia, it's just ridiculous. However, in Australia, we had a company called Holden. Same as Corvette, same manufacturers, same engines, same bits, okay? It was made locally here in Adelaide, right? Company's now closed down, and Holden or GMH, or whatever you want to call it, has left Australia. So there's no more of them in Australia. There are some imported, there's some sort of thing where they import them and they're really, really expensive. However, I'm outside shooting. Let's get on to the story. So I'm outside shooting one day, practicing as I do every night, with the TV on, watching whatever I'm watching, and I'm walking up to the target to score my arrows, because I score my arrows every night to see how I'm shooting, see if I'm improving, and see how I'm going, right? So I'm walking up to the target, and on Facebook it comes up with a message. There's a message on there saying that this car behind me is going at auction in the next 20 minutes for $2,500. Now that's really cheap. So I'm thinking in my head, a Corvette for $2,500. I've never owned a Corvette, I've never owned a Holden, and this is meant to be super fast. So I'm like, $2,500. So I run upstairs, so I stop practicing. It's just before the state championship, so I should continue to practice, but I'm like, here's an opportunity to make some quick money and get a really good car cheap. So I run upstairs in my house and try and log on to buy this car. I can't get on. I don't remember my password to get to the site. And it's not sending me through. So panic stations, because I'm down to like 3 minutes until this car expires. And it's $2,500, and I'm like, anyway, I get on to their website and I bid. Bang, 2.7. I've won! I've won a car for 2.7, but no, someone jumps over me, right? Someone jumps over me for $3,000. And then they extend the auction because it's about to finish. So I thought it was like eBay, right? I thought it was like eBay where the last person who bids the last bid wins. But no, they extend it for another 10 minutes. So I bid again, so $3,100 for this car, right? Again, I've never seen the car, I don't know anything mechanically, I've never owned one, I don't really know anything. I just know what they sell for in Australia. So they sell a bad one in Australia. When I say a bad one, a rough one will sell for about 10,000 Australian dollars, which is still a cheap Corvette, right? And I was looking at buying one because I'm like, well, it'll be a bit of fun just to see what it's like, right? Same engine as a Corvette, right? I don't know about transmission, I don't know about stuff. But this one's actually a full drive version, so it's 4 wheels work together. That's my understanding. I don't know much about cars. I know about bows, right? I do bows, I don't do cars, obviously, because I own a Mercedes. So there's a Mercedes, that's the worst investment I've ever made. This is my new indoor range, by the way, so it's currently a car parking lot, but it will be an indoor range. So we'll get back to the story. So we bid $3,100. It then gets extended for another 10 minutes. This continues for 2 hours. Anyway, I end up winning the car for about $4,000, which I think is still cheap. Then I've got to get it to Adelaide because it's in a different state, and that cost me $1,000, and that's okay. All right, so I'm like, okay, how's that work? But there's no tracking, it doesn't show it's being picked up, and the freight company's not contacting me. Anyway, I rocked up today. I literally drove past my shop and he just kept driving down the road. I was like, there goes my car down the road. He just like kept driving. So I'm like running after this truck down the road. And lucky my heart's good now, right? So anyway, this is the car. So it's a Holden, it's a Commodore, but it's a ute. So, and yes, it doesn't look like a Corvette, but these are a very Australian car. They're a work farm car. Now, I've had a Ute before. I had a Ute a little while ago. It was a Ford. I haven't had a Holden. This is my first Holden. The problem with a Ute, there's no back seat. So to put your archery gear in, a huge problem, because if you know me, I don't pack away my bows. My bows are fully assembled. So it was sitting in my passenger side, and there was no room. And I was like, well, this isn't really working. And when you get groceries, you have a poodle in the front seat. And then it's like there's no room for groceries. And then if you got them in the tub at the back, they just move around, right? In America, you've got trucks, and now we've moved to trucks. These are like, and what they are, they're like a sports car, but with a ute on the back for doing trading stuff, right? So you've got your big trucks, these are like sports, so this is like a Corvette with a tub on the back for picking up stuff. So this is what it's like. Now it's got a little thing on the back, so your stuff's weatherproofed. And he had it set up for camping. There's power things in the back and a spare battery to run a fridge and stuff. I'll show you inside. I was really impressed because I didn't buy in an auction. You've got no idea what it's going to be like. It's like, is it going to work? There's going to be massive mechanical problems with it, and that's why they're selling it at auction. And there may well be, right? So there may well be. And to say everyone says, Stephen, you're an idiot for buying that car is an understatement, because everyone says that. They're like, why do you want to buy a car with problems? Why do you want, are you not busy enough in your business already? Do you have not enough stuff to continue with? You're doing up this shed, you've got your business to run, you shoot every night, you shoot every day, and now you like buying a car which is going to have problems. That's what I do, right? So, anyway, this is the inside of the car, if you can see. Let's just go in there a little bit further. So, leather seats, which are nice. And I was like, look, it looks, the back seat. So, back seat, all leather. And these were made in Australia. So I was like, we don't make cars in Australia. We don't make things anymore in Australia. But I'm like, I'm very happy with that. I'm like, I'm going to just run through a bit. So the guy next to me is a mechanic, and two of my staff who work for me, I'm going to say her husband and dad, because they're mother and daughter, who work for me, is a mechanic. And he works on my cars, so I'll get one of them to fix up whatever's wrong with it. I don't know what's wrong with it, but I'll give it to them to fix up. Then there's a local guy here where we work, who works on cars, who's fixed up, done body work, spray painting on cars, and has been very, very, very good on cars I've had fixed. So I'll get him to fix up stuff on the car, and then we'll be ready to take it for a drive. So it's very exciting for me. It might be like, well, it's like, what difference does it make? But for me, I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, I'm excited with projects. I like projects. And this is the shooting range here. So this is going to be a shooting range. All here, there's bulldog targets, and we've built some targets. The brown one there we built, the brown one over there we built. And when I say me, it's one of the boys who works here. One of the young boys, one of the young archers in the store. And we'll just run over this. I'm going to say I've got two young boys. Now, they've been working for me for about 4 years now. Because they told me today they've been working for me for 4 years. And I put up that wall there, so when you're shooting out here, you don't walk into arrows. He's put new doors on the toilets. Sorry, it's a bit dark. But we'll just walk in so you can have a look what it's like. And I think I just purchased the wrong toilet, because I don't think that's going to work. But we're here fixing up toilets. All the windows didn't work because the landlord obviously didn't fix up anything and maintain anything in here. But we're fixing up all the windows, putting shutters in, fixing up all the rust, fixing up all the leaks, painting the building, so it's a bit of a job. To make it look nice, and we can kind of get it get it sort of set up for a shooting range and sort of see how a shooting range works. Now, just sidestepping on a shooting range. This building, so it's a big building, it's 25 metres by 18 metres. This building would rent out for between $800 and $900 a week. So I need to make around that from archers shooting. So I need around 80 archers at $10 a head, which puts it at a 50% discount to what clubs charge to shoot at, to come and shoot here. So I need 80 archers. I'm thinking about running beginners courses here, where people come because it's undercover and kind of climate controlled. And I'm thinking about doing like certificates, and I'll try and put some light back in. So I'm thinking about doing like certificates here, so you graduate, recurve with certain scores, with certain competencies, and compounds doing something similar. I've done this before when I was younger. So that's my thought process. I don't know if people will come and do it. That's one of the things you try. Because if I don't try it, I'll never know. So anyway, so that's one of my projects. And that's the car just there. So I'm very excited by that. That's my Corvette. And I'm going to say a Corvette for $2,500. And yes, it cost me more than $2,500. And it was nerve-wracking. I was shaking. I was like, I don't know how much to go to. Because when you bid, it's not the price you're actually paying for it, because there's all these premiums and you got to pay stuff on top. So I'm like, I'm doing the maths and like, well, is it good value? Is it not good value? What's the risk? People are like, why would you do that? Well, when you buy stuff for an archery shop, it's exactly the same. When you buy a bow for an archery shop, when you buy stock for an archery shop, it's a risk factor. You're like, how long is it going to take me to sell it? How much am I going to make? And how much of it do I need to sell to cover the wages and cover the cost for this week? So it's always a risk. So it doesn't matter whether I'm buying bows, accessories, I need stuff going in, I need stuff going out to cover the wages. So it's always a risk. So for me, buying a car is the same sort of risk, except I probably know more about archery and I know more about the demands and stuff. And saying all that, well, you never really know anyway, because it's like, yeah, I hear these people are going to sell so many of these, and then I get it in and they don't sell. So a lot of it's just, roll the dice and you hope it works out. Anyway, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and if you can shoot every day, it's going to help your archery and it's going to help you physically to get stronger, to get better. And instead of sitting here spending 3 hours bidding on a car, I would have been better spending 3 hours practicing for the state championships, which I was well aware of. But it was just a bit of excitement. So anyway, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching.